That's a tough act to follow. It's my pleasure now to give out the award for Student Entrepreneur of the Year. In the board meeting today, we had an interesting discussion about, are undergraduates really ready to start businesses? Our honoree tonight is on his third. Our friend and first director of the center, John Altman, once said, "A bankruptcy is a badge of honor for an entrepreneur, as long as it's not your last startup." David has had a bankruptcy. I remember the day when he walked into my office and he said, "I have an idea that I'm going to try to do at Miami," and it was called Mofo Info. Remember that one? And I think my first reaction was, do you really want to use that name? And as I do with most students, so maybe this is a little bit of advice. When students come in and say they have an idea and they want to try it, I think my job is to challenge them whether they really believe in the idea. So I think I told David everything that I thought might be wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
And David basically said, to hell with you, I'm going to do it anyway. That was the first signal to me. You were a sophomore then, I think. That was the first signal to me that we had a very special student in our entrepreneurship program. As I talked to David about that experience, maybe this is the wrong word to use in this political campaign, he wasn't bitter. He said, "It may not have worked, but I learned a lot from it." The second sign that I knew that David was going to be a successful entrepreneur, because he saw every failure as a learning opportunity. He started a second venture with a partner, Brad Kleinman, in Cleveland. That venture's still operating. And then he came back after school and he said, or after summer break last year, and said, "We've got a chance to really start a really great company called SmartWorks." And David laid out the idea to me, but it's interesting. I'll talk about our training film a little bit later, but one of the things we always tell our students, if you're going to go in and sell a project, it's always nice to say, "I've already got a customer." When David came in and talked to me about SmartWorks, he said, "Oh, and by the way, we've already got a customer." Proof of concept before he even came and said, "Let's see where we can take this." David has worked on all these things, 3 businesses in 2.5 years. But he didn't stop there. Every opportunity David had to learn more about entrepreneurship, he took that opportunity. He participated in an independent study project in which he served as a member of a board of advisors to a startup company, to learn what it was like to be an advisor to a startup and what he could learn from that experience about running his own company. And then, we're going to get there yet, David. David took the lead on creating, do we have any Miami mergers in the room tonight? Are the DeRoberts? No? Scott? David led a group of students that work with the Alumni Association to create the concept of a Miami merger online store. We're not quite there yet. We're dealing with some final issues with the alumni office. But I guarantee you the day that store opens, even though David will have graduated, it will have David's mark on it. Some of you know I'm a student of political science, so it is also with great pleasure that I can give this award to